Hold up, y'all. Fantastic Four got a new trailer? Whoa. It was a CinemaCon trailer. Damn. This look like the same one. Let me watch New Rockstars, cause they
Welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Eric Boston. Fantastic Four First Steps has done the impossible and confirmed correct a theory I pitched here on New Rockstars. Sue Storm, the Invisible Woman, is pregnant with Franklin Richards and Fantastic Four First Steps. Franklin Richards is Sue in Reed's.
I knew that shit though. I knew she was gonna be pregnant.
Richards, the nephew to Johnny Storm, and a reality warping and psionically powered Omega level mutant, the Universe Shaper, and now the baby whose first steps are being referenced in the Fantastic Four First Steps title. This was one of many details we learned from CinemaCon and for 4-day interviews with Empire Magazine. So in this video, I'm going to break down everything we learned in the past week about Fantastic Four First Steps. And yes, I am wearing.
Boy, this movie's gonna be so good. Y'all don't even know. People already hating on it. I feel like it's gonna be good. Like I got a gut feeling like it's gonna be good.
Okay, let's look at this CinemaCon trailer footage. So according to descriptions from
they said Silver Surfer League.
The CinemaCon footage opens with the Fantastic Four appearing on a talk show called The Ted Gilbert Show, which is a 1960s Ed Sullivan Show style format as we saw them at the end of the February teaser. Ted Gilbert is played by actor Mark Gatiss from the BBC Sherlock series and a number of other roles. We learned from this TV appearance that the Fantastic Four have been established for some period of time in this alternate history, already with their powers, and we hear fans shouting, "Thank you, Fantastic Four!" Then we see Sue Storm and Reed Richards arriving late to their Sunday night at 7 o'clock dinner with Johnny and Ben, and Sue announces she's pregnant. Johnny congratulates them and says that Sue will make a great mother while joking that Reed has some work to do. Then the Silver Surfer arrives to Earth, and the Silver Surfer here is the female Silver Surfer, Shalabal, played by Julia Garner. She says, "Are you the protectors of this world? Your planet is now marked for death." And then we see the shadow of Galactus spreading over New York City, and Shalabal says that the Fantastic Four are in a race against time to save Earth from destruction. Reed laments, "I stretched the boundaries of space, and they heard." We see a guy on the street asking Reed Richards if they're all going to be okay, and he responds, "They heard. We see Earth from destruction."
I stretched the boundaries of space?
"I stretched the boundaries of space, and they heard."
Did he like time travel or something?
Asking Reed Richards if they're all going to be okay, and he responds, "I don't know." And Reed buries himself in his research, trying to math the shit out of a solution to this problem. Reed and Sue make a promise for the future of their child, and Reed gives a speech to the public, promising that the Fantastic Four will protect them. And the trailer ends with the Silver Surfer Shalabal gliding on a board away from a fiery explosion. I expect that Marvel Studios will release this trailer very soon, and when it does, we will break down every detail in it. But we have to talk about Sue Storm's pregnancy. When the first teaser dropped,
I need to see this Silver Surfer.
The shaky wobble to Vanessa Kirby's walk in the every Sunday night 7 o'clock on the dot clip, as if a baby bump might have been VFX scrubbed out of the shot. There's also the shot of Reed and Sue in the spaceship as Sue is flickering in and out of visibility, where she looks like she is posed in a specific way in which she would be delivering a baby. And of course, there's just the title, First Steps. So this new confirmation that Sue is indeed pregnant is not validation I'm used to getting. And based on the context of this new footage, this is Reed and Sue's first child. We're not looking at a scenario where baby Franklin is already in the picture and Sue is actually pregnant with their second child, Valeria. After being trapped inside all winter, April is a month when you can finally start enjoying the outdoors. And if you have a pair of Vessies, rainy days go in the same.
W sponsor.
Was wearing. There's funds too. Stars now for
get that money.
Check out and start exploring without limits. Franklin Richards is an incredibly important character to the Marvel lore. When he was first introduced in Marvel Annual number 6 in 1968, he wasn't even given a name at that point, and that didn't happen until 1970. And in Fantastic Four number 140 in 1973, Franklin's powers begin to manifest, which gets the attention of Annihilus. Annihilus wants to use young Franklin to power his own resurgence by transferring some of Franklin's latent power to himself and releasing
Franklin like Jack off of Incredibles. He just got
threaten everyone on Earth. Reed decides to shut down Franklin's mind. But part of Franklin's early manifestations of his powers involves him projecting himself as an adult. And that's an important detail because he is a reality warper. So while we will see Franklin Richards as a baby in this movie, part of those first steps might involve Franklin having an adult form with an adult actor we're more familiar with. An actor we might see in Doomsday and beyond. Maybe as soon as First Steps post-credit scene. Franklin Richards also comes under the care of the family governess actress Agatha Harkness in her first introduction to Marvel Comics. While I do not expect Kathryn Hahn to show up in Fantastic Four First Steps as like an alternate universe Agatha Harkness, Matt Shakman was the WandaVision director to introduce Agatha to the MCU, and some scenes in this movie are going to be set during Halloween, so I will say it would make me very, very happy, but just unlikely. By the way, did anyone else find it weird
too many
that
characters.
Robert Downey Jr. did the same? Sit in the set chair, turn the camera, and shush that Agatha Harkness made iconic in the WandaVision episode 7 Agatha all along sequence.
I didn't even peep
Probably
that.
Coincidence, right? I suspect Marvel Studios' interest in Franklin Richards' future beyond the film Fantastic Four First Steps centers around his more recent storylines that Franklin has been involved with since the MCU began in 2008, which includes 2011's Fantastic Four number 600. In this storyline, young Franklin is approached by his future adult incarnation, who tells him that he must harness his powers to preserve life.
Them Future Foundation suits so clean. That black and white. Especially that Spider-Man suit.
And the Mad Celestials from Earth 4280. Franklin uses his powers to warp and defeat the Celestials in a prolonged battle and ends up reviving Galactus. And Franklin and Galactus end up sharing a moment. They discuss Franklin's immortality, and this conversation reveals that billions of years from now, Franklin and Galactus will stand together and witness the birth of a new universe. And then a few years after that, in Hickman's Secret Wars storyline from 2015 that Marvel is now adapting for Doomsday and Secret Wars, Franklin ends up being the one to absorb God Emperor Doom's powers, and joining his family and the Future Foundation and Molecule Man restores the multiverse and creates new realities on the other side of Battleworld. Now, I very much doubt that Marvel Studios will adapt the film events exactly this way. They tend to not do that, but knowing this comic backstory...
So the baby got all the Dr. Doom powers after he absorbed Molecule Man?
Fantastic Four involved, and not include Franklin Richards as part of that equation. For now, in Fantastic Four First Steps, I think this film will borrow part of the Annihilus storyline and reassign it to Galactus. Like the reason Silver Surfer tells Reed and the others that this planet has been marked for death is because Galactus wants baby Franklin Richards. Like Galactus sees Franklin Richards as a threat to this universe. It wasn't Reed simply stretching the boundary of space that alerted their existence to Galactus. It was Reed and Sue together and the future of their progeny. And when we are seeing the Future Foundation and the trailers and the other marketing for this movie, it's a signal to us that Marvel Studios plans to include Franklin Richards as part of that organization, and Franklin as part of the endgame to Secret Wars. So, who do you think will be the adult form of Franklin Richards? The universe shaper, like Reed Richards, if they made it, who would we get out of that? I'm thinking...
Would they put two versions of the same character in there?
Keanu Reeves as an older Franklin Richards? Who Now, on April 4th, director Matt Shakman also did an interview with Empire Magazine with 2 additional photos of Reed Richards and Ben Grimm and Johnny and Sue Storm preparing for their initial space flight before they got their powers. Shakman said that this film is looking to evoke the optimistic spirit of the 1950s and 1960s. He said, quote, "This is very much about the spirit of the space race. It's about JFK and optimism. It's imagining these 4 going into space instead of Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin. This idea that they are the most famous people in America because they're adventurers, explorers, astronauts, not because they're superheroes. And they come back and they're superheroes on top of it, but primarily they're astronauts, they're family." Shakman went on to say, quote, "I really wanted to go with as grounded a version of space as possible. So, no wormholes. Their tech is very much retro future, but it's also booster rockets. It's a combination of Marvel and Apollo 11. Shakman extended that philosophy to the construction of the film itself. He said, quote, "I really wanted it to feel like it was made in 1965 the way Stanley Kubrick would have made it, within reason." He told Empire that there was an emphasis on practical sets and props, including a 14-foot tall spaceship miniature, similar to how Kubrick used miniatures on 2001: A Space Odyssey. And Shakman's team have, quote, "used old lenses and taken an approach to filmmaking that feels more of the time. Of course, we will still have a lot of CG. Like, you don't get that version of Ben Grimm without a bit of CG." Shakman also clarified that Fantastic Four First Steps will be in its own reality, both in terms of the film's literal setting and an alternate
I feel like they go still connected, though.
And interconnectivity with the rest of the MCU. He said, quote, "We are our own universe, which is wonderful and liberating. There's really no other superheroes. There's no Easter eggs. There's no running into Iron Man or whatever. They're it in this universe. I love the interconnected Marvel universe, but we get to do something so new and so different. Eventually, this world will meet up with other worlds, but for now, this is our own."
So I was like, they probably gonna
so
still
during the runtime of this film, that encouraging events that brings the Fantastic Four to the Avengers in the 616 universe and Avengers Doomsday, that will not happen at the end of this movie, but it will happen at the beginning of Doomsday. And when this particular quote was checking in with me,
that'd be better.
It was okay. "No Easter eggs. What will new rock stars do? I'll tell you what I'll do. I am dropping to my knees and thanking God. I I have said this multiple times, dear viewer, I am not particularly fond of what many consider Easter eggs. These goofy shout-outs encoded in alien languages that I have to translate, or license plate numbers that may or may not reference some variant cover of a comic book issue that Kevin Feige's goons probably didn't even read, or some random glove shito name barely discernible on a newspaper in the background of some shot that some set decorator threw in on a whim, while the headline and the construction of that front page itself is not at all in the actual newspaper in any universe would format a front page. That drives a journalism major like me crazy. Yes, I will always strive to find these details because, you know, it is my job. But
he do be like pointing out every little thing. I'm like,
no Easter eggs, but rather things like interesting production design, really cool editing choices, beautiful score and sound design, general impressive attention to detail, and that type of visual analysis can be done for anything good. Like Christopher Nolan does not put Easter eggs in his movies, even in his Batman movies, but he just crafts his films with just countless instances of obsessive attention to detail, and that kind of stuff is what I like to break down. I much prefer that to movies that promise to be big old Easter egg parties like Ready Player One or Space Jam Legacy. Blah. So hearing Matt Shakman say this actually makes me even more excited for Fantastic Four First Steps, because now I get to sit back and appreciate the whole experience and Michael Giacchino's really cool score without having to look at every visible license plate. And I guarantee you, I'm going to still find like 100 details that you missed.
It's better when you can like
with your thoughts and theories about Franklin Richards and what you're most looking forward to about Fantastic Four First Steps. And a special thanks to one of our YouTube members, Frederick Price, who supports us at the executive producer level. You can support us as a channel by hitting that join button. Now I subscribe and follow me at EA Boss, and subscribe to all the channels in the New Rockstars Network for breakdowns and news coverage of everything you love. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.
No, but I was gonna say, like, it's better when the movie companies focus on just making good movies and not trying to interconnect 3 different movies with that one movie, and then it fuck up the whole plot and stuff and all this extra stuff. And it's like, just focus on making a good movie and then just build off of whatever foundation they give you. That's really what movie makers need to be getting back to. Just focus on making that one good movie, and then if it do good, you can do a sequel. And you can, the thing about a sequel and the thing about like not really caring how a sequel will be made, like in the process of making the first movie, is like you can pick and choose what you like want to connect to the first movie or not, and it can make sense, you know, because you sat there and thought about it. When you start making all these promises and then actors can't show up to shoot, or they getting some legal drama, then now y'all gotta reshape the whole franchise and all this extra stuff. It's like, I don't think no movie company should ever have movies to where if that one leading actor, if something happened to him to where they can't get him to film the scenes, then the whole movie scrapped, you know. And not just for like one movie. It's one thing to do it for like just one movie. You got to star an actor, of course, but like when you have that one actor that is responsible for taking care of his life for the next 10 years to retain his ability to make movies, then it's like you putting a lot of pressure on just that one person. And on top of that, you putting all your eggs in one basket, you know. So they need to get back to like making movies for that time period, and if the audience say so, or if, you know, the success is just there, then you can build up on that. But stop trying to make, you know, movies that go on for the next 6 years. You got 5 more movies to make, and it was supposed to be the next 6 years, but then it got delayed because of some unknown event that happens 2 years later, 3 years later. And so now you in a 10-year deal and signing your life away damn near and all this extra stuff. And then the whole trickle down effect. It's like, just focus on making one good movie and keep it pushing. But y'all let me know y'all thoughts, man. I'm excited for the movie. I'm excited for the trailer. I'm not one of these people that on here that's finna just be like, all negative and stuff, talking bad about a movie. I think it's gonna do good. I'm sorry, I just woke up, but I think it's gonna do good. I like the theme. I don't care what people talk about his eyebrows. He got big ass eyebrows in the comics. I like the thing's design. Everybody else's design is updated as it should be, but even the old like Mr. Fantastic power displays and the Fantastic Four powers CGI back in like early 2000, they were still good. They still good today, but it's like when you got better technology, you can do it even better. But you know, people gonna be hating anyways. But I'm just yapping right now, so let me get y'all up out of here, man. Y'all stay safe, man. Be blessed. Peace.